also comes a fundamental thing, which is, look, Hamas has to really, and Hamas, not to get too much into, the
Cowboy Nation, what it do? It's your guy, Majestic Sounds. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. Listen, you guys, I want to jump right into this particular episode. Let's talk about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones finally, somebody help me say, finally admitted that we are in a rebuilding situation. Here it is, week 5, and Jerry Jones finally admitted that we're rebuilding. I mean, he called it a soft rebuilding to be exact. And bro, we already knew that. We were just waiting on you to admit it. Last year, if you guys remember, I know y'all old enough to remember, last year Jerry Jones spoke of being all in. We're going all in for the 2024 NFL season. But in actual reality, Jerry Jones is planning for the future. He's not looking at 2024 in my humble opinion, because if you were looking at 2024, you wouldn't waited so long to sign Dak Prescott. You wouldn't waited so long to restructure CD Lamb contract and give him an extension. So with that being said, me personally, I already knew that we're most definitely in a rebuilding situation. Again, he's calling it a soft rebuild. But let's listen to what Jerry Jones had to say. Y'all give me 1 minute. Let me see. Can I cue this up? All right. Y'all bear with me.
I heard the other day the phrase soft rebuild. And I was very interested in that conversation, because I started looking at kind of some of the signings y'all have. The Cowboys have their quarterback. They have their receiver. They have a couple other things, but they still have some moves to do. And here they are drafting and hoping that in a couple of years those guys are going to be able to be there and be there for it. I'm kind of curious what a rebuild actually looks like in your mind, and if you think the Cowboys are in the middle of something like a soft rebuild, because y'all do have a lot of youth, but a lot of veterans to go along with it as well.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. You're right on it. How do you sustain competitiveness in this system? How do you?
Let's look. You're not going to be able to duplicate the last 3 years. The last 3 years we were 12-5. Listen, you guys, at the rate we're going now, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because anything is possible. I mean, injuries is a big part of it. How other teams do is a big part of it. So anything is possible. We can actually go 12-5 again. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's impossible, but you're putting a lot of responsibility on a group of young people, rookies, first-year players, second-year players, third-year players that just don't have enough snaps. They don't have a lot of reps. You're putting a lot of faith, a lot of trust, and essentially you're giving them a big responsibility. That's what you're doing in so many words, Jerry Jones. All right, let's listen.
And then how do you have a chance? You're up around the rim. How do you have a chance to get in the big game and win it with the Super Bowl? It's a different stroke if you're dealing and building around a top-tier quarterback. And that's the way that we are. And you got to really work that problem hard with draft and with young players. And so that when you see games come up that you're counting on young players, you know that that's going to be an opportunity to test the system, so to speak, test us out. And we've got to be able to have some success with young players, just like this weekend. And with the way that we're trying to sustain a chance to go to the Super Bowl with the system that we're in, and I'm all for it, is what you're seeing us do in my mind. And you've got to, I'm gonna quit singing the blues about everybody when I'm saying, look, we're short of space, but there's no need of talking about it. Just that when you don't see it, there's an old country song that says, baby, when that phone's not ringing, that's me calling. And that's a little bit of what's going on here. Now, I can't make any sense of that either, but that was the name of the song.
All right, Cowboy Nation. There you have it. There you have it. Now, here's my understanding of what I'm getting out of all of that. And Jerry Jones alluded to this, and Stephen Jones alluded to this during the offseason. We have to win with less. We have to win with less, and that's not a good situation. You are putting too much pressure on Dak Prescott, number one, because he is the quarterback. He doesn't have a efficient running game at this point. At this point of the season. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest. You won't elevate Dalvin Cook from the practice squad. So essentially, we have a running game that's non-existent. It's struggling, to say the least. We got CeeDee Lamb. After that, your Nets target, I'll just say from a targeting perspective, is Jake Ferguson. But from a productivity perspective, it's Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert has the second most yards and the second most yards average. And I'm talking about receiving wise. He has the second most receiving yards and the second most average receiving yards out of everybody that Dak is throwing the ball to. But in my humble opinion, in week 5, in this particular game we're going into, we need to run the ball. We need to run the ball. We got to help the defense out. Now let's just continue to talk about Jerry Jones and his soft rebuild. You are really putting a lot of pressure on these players. A lot of pressure on these young players. Look at the last 10 years, teams that have won the Super Bowl. I really don't even have to go that far back. Look at the last 5 years. Teams that have won the Super Bowl. Teams that have won the Super Bowl took advantage of free agency. Teams that have won the Super Bowl made moves in free agency during the offseason. Teams that have won Super Bowls have made moves in free agency during the regular season. During the regular season, they have made moves. Yes, they draft. I have nothing against drafting players for the future, but that's what it is. It's only for the future. But what about right now? What about right now? Jerry Jones is not concerned about right now. Bottom line. He can't be, because you haven't brought in the players to sustain the amount of wins you want to sustain. You have to bring in players. You have to spend money, Jerry Jones. You can't drag your feet on re-signing the players that you need, because all that time, all you doing is making it more costly for yourself from a salary cap perspective when you won't sign players ahead of time so you can save money, so you can conserve money on the front end versus trying to conserve money on the back end. So this all-in quote that Jerry previously stated during the off season. It's for the future, you guys. But y'all knew that. I knew it. I'm just glad he finally admitted. A soft rebuild. Man, you can put the word soft in front of it. A rebuild is a rebuild. And if you really want to win, if you really want to get to the NFC Championship game this year, you're going to have to bring in another wide receiver. Brandon Cooks will be out. I'm hearing for about 4 weeks. Michael Parsons will be out. And his situation is week to week. D-Law will be out. His situation is from 4 to 8 weeks. So look at what we got going on. You're going to have to bring in some pass rushers. Slam Williams is out for the entire season. He hurt himself back in OTAs, if I'm not mistaken, or minicamp, one or the other, right before the season starts. So you're looking at minicamp. So essentially, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Jones is planning for the future with people like Cooper Beebe, Tyler Guyton, Marshawn Nealon. That's the future. But what about right now? That is just entirely too much pressure and responsibility on these group of young people who just don't have enough reps in the National Football League. And if you look around, again, I'm going to repeat this. The last 5 years, teams that won the Super Bowl in the last 5 years, they put players on the team that were ready to make an immediate impact on the game of football for said team. Look at the LA Rams when they won. They went and got Von Miller. They went and got Von Miller, right? They went and got Odell Beckham. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals when they went to the Super Bowl. They went and got Chase. You know, Joe Burrow wasn't gonna let Chase go to another team. Both of them play for LSU. The chemistry they got, you already know Joe Burrow go get my boy Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, and them boys went all the way to the Super Bowl. And they had a pass rusher, and they had a decent secondary. Every team that's been to the Super Bowl made moves in the draft as well as in free agency. All right. So Jerry Jones, you can go on somewhere with this all in. And now he's saying he's all in on the new idea of bringing in new guys and keeping some veterans and trying to keep a 12-5 record. That's essentially what he's trying to do, with a lot of rookies and a few veterans. But ladies and gentlemen, the truth is the truth. And the truth is simply this: CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott need help. The defense need help because they're injured right now. Everything I'm saying is factual. It don't take rocket scientists to know this. It don't take a Rhodes Scholar to see this. Stevie Wonder can see this. Ray Charles can see this. All right, so week 5. My final words on week 5. We need to run the ball. We need to run the ball. We need to get Ezekiel Elliott going. We need to get the rookie. Well, he's not a rookie now. It's his second year. Hunter Lipke. We need to implement him. Need to make sure Cavante Turpin touched the ball a few times. We need to extend plays. We need to extend plays with Dak Prescott because, listen, TJ Watt coming. TJ Watt coming. So we're going to have to do some rollouts, some bootlegs. Dak Prescott ain't going to be able to sit in the pocket all game long. Not against TJ Watt. Not against that Pittsburgh defense. And no penalties. From an offensive perspective, penalties kill your momentum. So no penalties under no circumstances. No penalties from the offense, no penalties from the defense, no penalties from special teams. Everybody need to bring their A game. The coaching, the play calling, the adjustments, halftime adjustments, you name it. Everything has to be A1 because we ain't at home. We on the road. We got to take our show on the road. Those are my final words concerning the Dallas Cowboys in Week 5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got to run the ball. We got to move the ball offensively, or it's going to be a long game, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Cowboy Nation, that's my time. I truly thank you all for your time. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to share this content. Become a part of the family. Come on in. Become a part of the membership. We ain't going to hurt you. We ain't going to bite you. We ain't going to do nothing but love on you. All right? DC for life.